Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in the house. Welcome home. I am so glad that you are here again. I count it an absolute honor to be able to continue doing this podcast. Before I know it, it'll be a year here soon. That is exciting to me. So, we are glad you're here. Thank you for coming to this podcast, From Destruction to Dignity: Clinical Perspectives, Spiritual Truths. I am your host, Janice Pons, and I am so humbled, honored, and blessed to be the host of this podcast. A lot of people are giving me so much feedback. I so much appreciate your support, your encouragement, your love. I always encourage people to go to my website, www.janicepons.com. I have books there. I have a musical CD there, Janice Pons for God and Country. I have free downloads there that you can access about the history of our nation. There's just quite a bit to choose from there that can help you. And so there's also a resource page on my website, www.janicepons.com. And that resource page where research has already been done, the resource page is where research has already been done, where you can avail yourself to places that you can connect to find a therapist, to find a support group, to find different levels of care that you may decide that you want to pursue if you want to engage in the therapeutic process. People get stuck and people can get help from being stuck. God wants us moving forward. So speaking of moving forward, we're going to talk about something today that's very dear to my heart. I love boys. But I had a son when I conceived. God, the Holy Ghost said, you're pregnant with a boy. I was like, oh, okay. I just enjoy boys a lot. I love girls. I don't know, just boys are dear to my heart. Maybe it's because I had four brothers. I had to just got that connection there. Maybe that way. And then when I was a teacher, I just loved taking those little boys that thought they wanted to act out, and it was like, oh no, we don't do that in this classroom. And so just taking them on a journey of learning how to be disciplined, trained, and to empower them to walk through a journey of being the best student and the best reader in the building. That was my goal. So it was just so powerful to take those little boys. Listen, our future, uh, without solid men is it has a lot of implications. A lot of implications. And my thought here today is, who's fighting for our boys? Who's fighting for our boys? Do you know that there are platforms and agendas that are specifically targeting our boys? Yes, they are. And so who's talking about it? Is the church talking about it? If they're not, why not? Why not? Why is the church not talking about the specific agenda to feminize our boys? I'm talking about willfully planting seed and watering seed to reap a harvest. What's wrong with letting the developmental process unfold? Now, fighting for our boys, hey, politicians need to be held accountable. But if a politician think they're tough enough to say, oh, I'm going to put this person in leadership and we'll do this and we'll do that, and then they tell you what they're going to do, and then we see unfolding going on in the school that's got these parents showing up now. Kevin Jennings, Obama's first safe school czar, he said he was going to start a saturation process in the minds of kindergartners related to their sexuality. What for? Why are we focusing on that? When I was teaching school for a combination K1 class was my first experience. I loved third grade. That was my favorite grade to teach. And then I ended up also teaching emotionally disturbed, incarcerated adolescent males. Listen, the focus was academics. It was academics. We're not talking about sexuality with a kindergartner, but they are now. They're teaching them how to masturbate. What's that about? Listen, last year was a wake-up call for a lot of parents. They saw what children were being exposed to. My homeboy in North Carolina, Mark Robinson, he is coming against that stuff, and they are viciously coming after him, but he will stand. He will stand in Jesus' name. Because who's going to protect our boys? Who's going to protect our girls? Who's going to protect the children? Is it right for them to be exposed to this type of material, kindergarten, first, second graders, where they're showing explicit sexual acts in the schools and our taxpayer dollars pay for it? I think not. So we're going to target our boys tonight, fighting for our boys. We want to supply. When our boys are empowered in their growth and development, a part of that will be supplying men along the journey for the most critical years of their lives. These are critical years with their specific agendas that want to get them. They want to form their sexuality, to take it in a specific direction instead of letting it unfold. We're going to look at a video clip, and this part is about specifically targeting the soul of our boys. And we're going to go somewhere with this, but let's just take a moment, just sit back, relax, give this your undivided attention, and I want you to see the core of the process that's unfolding for this one little boy. Let's take a look.
Because your father isn't here.
I wish he was.
I know you. I wish he was too. Well, because he's not here, I want to do something symbolic, special for you. I didn't have my father either, okay? But here I am. Because I had God the Father. His word says he'll be a father to the fatherless. And what he did for me, he supplied men along the journey to help keep me up during my most critical years of my life. And then when I was able to stand on my own, Caden, he told me to go back and get my father. So it may be some years before that relationship gets right, but I know he loves you, and you should keep praying for him, because I love him, I care about him. Maybe when he see this, it'll move his heart. But as we get, as men, I can speak for a man, a young man, even your father's age. A lot of times we don't know what we're doing, son. We put things before our children and the most important things in life because we're so concerned about what's happening at the moment. So your father may be working a lot of whatever. I did a lot of foolish things when I was a young father. But my prayer is that you would embrace the fathers that God have in your life right now, so that when you get older, we never know how God can move. When that time comes for you and your father to be together, you will be stronger. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Good. So what's going to happen, your stepfather, Dwayne, is going to do your push-ups first. And then it'll be me, then Nagib, then your brother, Gabriel, and then it'll be Ron, representing as another father. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So all you have to do is when Dwayne gets done, all you got to do is hop off him and lay on me. Then when I get done, I'm going to go as many as I can, and then you go to the next man. Then you go to the next man until you're off. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
That just means, Cade, you are not alone, son. You are not alone. Trust me. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
We'll affirm you. We'll build you up. We'll train you. We'll discipline you. And we're going to be here for you. You just gotta know you got somebody to lean on. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Good. Zeus! Everybody facing the front. What up? Go, Nike, keep going. You gotta take the baton from me, son. Come on. God's gonna equip you, keep going. Fight. Go, son, go. Come on, I got your back spirit. Go. All the way up, lock it out. Lock it out. Higher. Hold it. Down. It's okay. You see now where your fathers are?
Yes, sir.
You understand how it works?
Yes, sir.
All right? I love you, boy. Congrats, you passed. Give him a hand.
Good job. You did a great job. Everybody want to get picked up?
It's only fitting that we present you this with your brothers around because they've been here the whole time pushing you on. You listening?
Yes, sir.
You're the last one to make the initiation, but none of them tested to the next level without you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So this certificate says, this certificate is to acknowledge Caden Johnson for successfully passing the initiation into the Cave of Adullam Transformational Training Academy. He has shown the mental fortitude and physical ability to train with the awareness and skill needed to move forward. Signed by Nagi, Chris, and Sharaf, me. Congrats, that's yours.
Welcome back. I love that. Do you even begin to grasp the impact that could have on that young boy as he reflects back on those men going through that process? It was grueling, but they were there for him. His natural father's not in his life. He said, I want him to be. And the leader of that whole organization said, you pray for your dad. And in the interim, he has these other men. So that's a system where men, godly men, come alongside of the journey of the most critical years of those boys' lives. What did he say to him? That leader said, he said, you're not alone. You see these men? You are not alone. He said, we will affirm you. We will train you. We will build you up. We will discipline you. What will that look like? In our homes, what will that look like? In churches, what will that look like? In schools, what will that look like? In social settings, what will that look like? Are we just going to leave these boys just to kind of figure it out on our own, on their own, and us to figure it out on our own? Or are we going to partner with people that are being strategic with these boys to fight for our boys in these critical years of their lives? The enemy is going after boys. What will it look like if we're strategic in going after them and their soul to cultivate, to mature, to empower, to train, to discipline, to affirm them, to make sure they're not alone, that they have encounters such as that, and there's so many other things you can do. What will that look like? What will be the observable, measurable activities, behaviors that they will engage in, that their souls are hungry for? Their souls are hungry for that. Listen, I really, really pray that we can get focused on how to affirm our boys, to be intentional, to be purposeful in how to affirm them. One thing that we can do is to be proud of their boyishness. When I was growing up, my mama and her sisters, they're in their late 90s now, and they said, he's mannish. Mannish meaning he's just kind of acting out like a boy. But sometimes mothers have a hard time and can be in shock about these boyish antics, and they do some risk taking sometimes, and sometimes they can be destructive with toys, and sometimes they like to do things like climb trees, and that just might be okay. You know, provide a safety net for them. They need to explore in healthy ways. When I was growing up, we had tree houses and climbing trees and picking blackberries and going through the blackberry patch and going through the woods, having a good time. We could have a good time, and we didn't have hardly any toys. Boys, if boys are encouraged to be problem solvers, one of my most popular podcasts that I have has been Solution Focused Problem Solvers. Solution Focused Problem Solving. So their ingenuity, their problem solving, their creativity, their competitiveness, embracing that, having organized sports, that's organized discipline, what he's doing with those boys. It can help to develop the most powerful traits in their lives, and it will sustain them as they grow into men. Here's something else we can do with them. We can allow them to take on risks that are too hard for them. I told my son when he was young, I said, I will never tell you how to do something that you can figure out on your own. And but mom, yes. do I need to repeat that statement that I just made? I will never show you how to do something that you can figure out on your own. Now, he may have needed a little guidance, but he learned to be a critical thinker. And he's sharp on his feet now because he can see the bigger picture. He's not all caught up in his emotion down here at that little corner of the paper. He can see the whole big picture because we put before him, me and his dad, put before him tasks that were hard for him. And he may needed to have been coached through it, encouraged through it, but he got through that thing and he got on the other side. Do you think he was changed? Do you think it was empowered? Absolutely he was. Absolutely he was. The best way for our sons to learn, and more importantly, to know that they can learn, is to let them experience frustration and work it through to the end. Let them experience frustration and let them work it through to the end. How else will they find out that they can do things? So if the little 3 or 4-year-old, I remember my son, he was like, I was got the clothes out the dryer and was trying to fold the sheet. He was like, Mama, let me help you. He got down there at the end, long old sheet. He was 3 years old. But I said, okay, this is how we do it. Boy, he did it perfect the first time. I was like, okay, we're coming up this way. Turn it over. He's like, yes, did it again. And then we came and met each other. And when we came and met each other, where you have to fold it again, we just gave each other the biggest hug. Said, hold on, we're not done. Then we folded. It was this nice, neat presentation. He was like, whoa, look at that. Somebody said that wasn't no big deal. Yes, it was. He learned how to fold sheets. I taught him how to wash clothes, dry clothes, iron. When he went off to his first semester, he went to Baylor. When he went off, there would be boys that would look around and peep at him in the laundry room. They didn't know how to wash clothes. They didn't know how to iron. In the military, they don't know how to iron. No one's taught them. When I homeschooled them, I taught them how to cook, how to sew on a button. You got to be purposeful. Empowering our boys. Another way that we can affirm them, don't interfere with their play unless you have to. Now, boys like to play. It's their chance to build skills, strength, and problem solving for the real world. You can talk through it. Talk through it. I think I've said this before. I had a solution focus. The steps to solving problems, being a solution focused problem solver. There's steps to that. It was on his wall when he was 6, 7, 8 years old. What do? Go find out what step you're on right now. Go look on the wall. And he come back, tell me where it was. How you going to get to the next step? How are you going to execute that? It's beautiful. Now he has to use it all the time in the profession that he's in. But it's a powerful thing to get down in you, where you don't interfere with your play. You let them climb trees. You let them build something with their Legos. Let them be creative. Let them unfold. Go through a process that's unfolding these things. How else can we affirm our boys? We can provide opportunities for risk taking. Trying to protect them from taking risks all the time. That can impede their maturity. So something like, I'm not necessarily a person that likes to go hiking, but maybe backpacking, trip through the wilderness with your son, where you go with them and you talk about and you build relationships as you go, or you allow them to try out a part in a play. I remember my son, he didn't want to do that. I said, yeah, you are. You're going to be in that Christmas play, and they're going to assign parts out, and you will learn your part, and you will be a part of that play, and you'll be glad that you did. Mom, you will be a part of the play, and you'll be glad that you did. He did, and he was glad. He learned the parts. He felt empowered. We have to promote that kind of thing. What's another way we can affirm our boys? Let them solve problems with others. Let them. Set it up. They need to have opportunities to disagree with others where they can say, oh, just talk through it without yelling, cussing, and fighting. Actually, where you process it together. Sometimes parents have to get involved, especially if they're young children. We want to always foster physical safety. However, that can be left to your child and other children to try to work things out. And you hey, y'all can work that out. You can work it out. So what's what's your next step going to be as you work it out? We want to encourage that kind of thing. Here's another way we can affirm them. Don't let them win every time. We in this society where everybody got to have a trophy. That didn't used to be. Nobody can be first place. You're not going to be first place all the time. You might be second place, and you will congratulate the one that is first place. And you say, attaboy, way to go. I'm proud of you. Good job. That's life. Sometimes they don't need to win. They need to know what it feels like. Oh, man, gosh, I didn't win that time, but I'm coming back. Like we looked at Venus and Serena Williams a couple of weeks ago. They kept coming back. They kept coming back. Then another way we affirm them, treat them like they're capable. Don't be hollering at your boys, telling them what they can't do and they dumb and stupid and sit down over there and sit your this and come on. Affirm those boys. Empower them. Speak positively over their lives, treating them like they're able to help set up the table. I taught my son, set up the table, wash the dishes, vacuum out the car, vacuum the floor, assist with the yard work. What does it do? It builds self-confidence. It builds them being self-reliant in the future. It's being intentional with our boys. Take them outside often. Take them outside so they can romp around and play. Let them go to the park. Let them hike. Let them get out in nature. Let them discover. Let them look at bugs. Let them look at leaves. Talk about things. Turn it into a project. Fossils. Research. Connected. All cooped up in the house, looking at their phone. I said, somebody. Anyway, 2 and 3 years old got a phone in front of them doing stuff. Teach them how to read. Be intentional. Give them responsibility early. Even young boys can help out with household tasks, packing a lunch, or helping making snacks for their younger siblings. Help them to embrace responsibility. Take an interest in their interests. You're going to be where they are. I know my friend Patrick Hampton, he says, your boys are going to be in the streets, or you going to be in the streets with your boys. He has 4 amazing boys. He's very intentional. He's very intentional on how he raised those boys. And here's the last thing on how we can affirm our boys. Let them cry. What's this foolishness about boys don't cry? Real men don't cry. Oh, really? If they're taught at a young age that aside from anger, that emotions are not okay to express, what are we making? We're making walking time bombs. This is when they repress anger. They got to give a language to it. Give a language to it. They might cry. We saw a clip a couple of weeks ago. That boy cried because he was confronted with fear. And he learned to be bold as a lion and put a language to it. Imagine the impact that it can have on future relationships, their children, and ultimately their own emotional health and wellness if they learn how to cry and process the feelings and empower them as you go. Listen, what we're talking about is fighting for our boys. There's a stealth plan to go after our boys, and there's a specific plan to go after them sexually. We want them to be empowered. We want them to be successful. We want them to be godly. We want them to be powerhouses. So if we are intentional, if we are strategic, might it prevent them from going down destructive paths? Because remember, our whole focus, my desire is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention. So these kind of things that we're talking about today, it's learning to embrace that, talk to our boys about it, and be intentional in incorporating it in their environment. And more than likely, if we do that as a way of life and are very intentional, chances are they will not go down destructive paths. And if they do, our goals, if we got to come back, we know how to strategically address how to take them from destruction to dignity, clinical perspectives, spiritual truths. You know, we're going to keep unpacking some stuff. I'll see you next week. God bless you.
We are God empowered, strength is ours, liberty, been set free, education, affirmation, dedication,